I've decided to return to the backrooms. And today we're going to be jumping into the iceberg of said backrooms. I don't know why I'm going to be doing this today, because honestly, sometimes when I do these deep dives into the rabbit hole of many things that I care a lot about / are very interested in, am very interested in, should I say. That was terrible English there, Charlie. This is your first language. Learn it. Anyway, moving on swiftly. I get really into them, and I obsess over them. So that may happen after I watch this video. So, there's nothing better to do than just jump straight into it. Drink of choice today is a banana Y-Food. I'm not sponsored, but Y-Food, if you are watching, better than a milkshake. Better than a milkshake. I wish I could give you guys a discount code in the section below in the description, but I'm not sponsored by anyone just yet, so fingers crossed, I guess. Anyway, let's just jump straight into this, shall we? When you're ready. Thank you very much. Common knowledge. We'll see how much of this I actually know.
Project KV-31. Project KV-31 is the central experiment shown throughout Kane Pixels Backrooms series.
I do know this.
It's an in-universe research project run by the Async Research Institute during the 1980s. Focused on building a machine capable of opening a gateway to a previously unknown space, the Backrooms. The project revolves around the low-proximity magnetic distortion system, more commonly referred to in the videos as the Threshold.
Yes, I
In the
remember
video
this.
Backrooms First Contact, Async activates the Threshold during its 6th test on October 17, 1989. Successfully opening a passage into the backrooms for the first time. Earlier dates and prototype work are mentioned throughout on-screen text, narration, and presentation footage, establishing that KV-31 has been in development for years prior.
Okay.
Every major event in the series, from exploration missions to containment failures, stems directly from this experiment.
Yeah, we saw a couple of those. We saw a fair few of those.
The Async Research Institute is the organization at the center of Kane Pixels Backrooms universe. It's portrayed in the series throughout videos, presentations, camcorder footage, and internal recordings from the supposed institute. Async is responsible for developing the Threshold, running exploration missions, researching the backrooms, and documenting what happens once contact with the backrooms was made. The videos imply that Async began as a legitimate research institution before shifting into advanced electromagnetic and spatial experimentation.
They got shifty.
Its branding, safety films, and corporate structure are heavily inspired by real Cold War era research labs.
I didn't know
Characters
that.
like Ivan Beck and Marvin Lee all originate from this corporation. Kane Parsons.
The
Kane
guy.
Parsons, known online as Kane Pixels, is the creator of the Backrooms video series. His YouTube channel is the sole primary source for the canon of his series. Everything
Obviously.
considered official originates from what he uploads, whether public or unlisted. The project began with the Backrooms found footage in January 2022, which went viral due to how convincingly it presented the Backrooms as real recovered footage. Since then, Kane has expanded the series using a mix of found footage, archival-style videos, fictional presentations, and environmental storytelling. He creates the environments and effects himself, primarily using Blender,
Which is
which
insane.
allows the backrooms to feel physically
First
real
of all.
while still being impossible spaces. Outside the series, Kane also uploads music and experimental media under the name
Not Kane Pixels yet.
some of which is used directly in the Backrooms series. March 11th 90 archive.tar. March 11th 90 archive.tar is an unlisted video in Kane Pixels Backrooms series that can be found through a link hidden in the description of the Backrooms found footage.
I didn't know this.
It was uploaded on January 8th, 2022, making it technically the second installment released in the series.
Oh, no way.
The video is presented as an async tape archive containing a collection of still images documenting early research connected to Project KV-31 and the Backrooms.
Ooh, okay.
Unfamiliar Backrooms environments, blueprints or machinery, researchers working with equipment, and photographs taken inside both async facilities and the Backrooms themselves are all presented in this video. It also makes mention of ideas like null zones, which will be discussed further down. The video implies that async personnel had already begun investigating and cataloging the Backrooms prior to many of the exploration events shown later in the series. It functions as an insight into async, reflecting on the extensive records of their research into the anomalous space. Collateral.mov.
I might have to go back and watch that.
Collateral.mov is an unlisted Kane Pixels upload that presents itself as a short news montage covering the 1989 Loma Prieta earthquake. The date places it directly alongside the threshold's successful activation, which is why viewers often associate the two events. The video never outright states that the earthquake was caused by Async's experiment, but the timing, tone, and presentation strongly invites that interpretation. Like several other unlisted uploads, Collateral.mov acts as a supplemental context, but clearly part of the larger narrative Kane is building. Kane Pints.
Sorry?
Kane Pints is a simple misreading that turned into a long-running inside joke. In found footage,
You mean a meme?
A clapperboard briefly appears before the cameraman enters the backrooms.
Ah, Kane
Due
Pints.
to motion blur and VHS-style distortion,
That's fair enough.
the name Kane Pixels looks like Kane Pints to some viewers.
I mean, from far away, yes,
There's no
but that's
hidden meaning
definitely...
or
You can
alternative
clearly see
identity
that's
here.
Kane Pixels.
It's just an artifact of degraded footage. The fact that it became an iceberg entry at all is a good example of how the analog horror presentation can accidentally create mysteries where none were intended.
Yes, yeah, that's very true.
This video. This video is an unlisted Kane Pixels upload released in May 2022. It shows a car driving along a highway before suddenly clipping through the ground and falling into the backrooms.
You mean no clipping?
The in-video date places it in 1989, aligning it with early Backrooms incidents. The title is an ISBN number for The Yellow Wallpaper, a short story about isolation and psychological confinement. That thematic
just the way it's
connection,
all
paired with
interlinked.
the familiar yellow interiors of the Backrooms, makes the title definitely intentional. The video itself is brief, strange, and never explained further. And it's often cited as one of the more unsettling supplemental uploads.
Okay.
Some viewers believe that the car in the footage is the same car documented in found footage 2.
Yeah, see, that's what I
But
thought.
Kane himself has seemingly debunked this claim, leaving it up in the air. Bacteria.
What about it?
Bacteria, also called the life form, is the primary hostile entity shown in the Backroom series.
Okay.
It first appears in found footage, where it stalks and chases the cameraman through the halls.
Horrifying.
Its design, tall, thin, erratic, and faceless, has remained consistent across later appearances.
A bit like the Slender Man.
Later videos imply a biological connection between the entity and microbial contamination discovered on a deceased person. While the series never fully explains what the bacteria is or where it came from, it establishes the creature as a real threat inside the Backrooms.
You think?
And one to look out for moving forward.
What does that mean?
Not Kane Pixels. Not Kane Pixels is Kane Parsons' secondary YouTube channel.
You've already said
where he
this.
uploads original music and experimental audio. Several tracks from this channel appear directly in Backrooms videos. While the channel isn't a narrative source on its own, it offers insight into the sound design and mood that defines the series. It's also where Kane experiments more freely without constraints of in-universe presentation.
I mean, it's always good to have a second channel.
The Simpsons. The Simpsons is an unlisted video uploaded by Kane Pixels that features a brief clip from a real episode interrupted by a foreign commercial. The footage is dated January 10th, 1991, placing it after the Threshold's activation.
Okay.
The video doesn't explain itself. Some viewers interpret it as evidence of reality interference or signal corruption linked to the backrooms, while others see it as an example of magnetic interference from KV-31. Overall, an interesting inclusion into Kane's lore for the series.
Interesting.
Marvin E. Lee.
What about Marv? Hey,
Marvin Lee is
you
the
leave
most
Marv alone.
prominent human character in the Backrooms series. He appears in Informational Video and Pitfalls,
he does.
where he leads an async exploration team into the backrooms. His calm, methodical demeanor makes the situation feel more real, like trained professionals dealing with something they don't fully understand. During the Pitfalls expedition, Marvin becomes separated from his team and
After he
narrowly
falls into a
survives
pit.
hostile encounter.
I see what I did with the
His
title.
voice, decisions, and reactions provide one of the clearest human perspectives in the entire series,
This be
making
true.
him a key anchor point for the narrative. Marvin so far is the
The
only
way it
documented
moves,
human
man.
to come into
It
contact
still gives me
with the
tingles down
bacteria
the side of my
creature
face.
and come out alive.
Surface level. Slightly more niche. Okay. I'm excited. Tell me more. Tell me more. Ivan Beck.
Ivan Beck is the vice director of Async and the person overseeing Project KV-31. He appears by name in presentations, briefings, and few video appearances throughout the series, usually positioned as the authority figure, responsible for approving tests and managing the Threshold project.
Yeah, who is this guy?
In videos like Presentation, Beck is shown addressing the purpose and future of the Backrooms program, framing it as a controlled scientific breakthrough and not a reckless experiment. His presence establishes Async as a bureaucratic institution with leadership, hierarchy, and accountability, even as events spiral beyond their control.
Yeah, I don't really know where their smart ideas were coming from.
Nicholas Bolton is identified in the series as a missing person who disappeared shortly after the Threshold was activated.
And a lot of people think that he is actually a monster
style footage
within the
and
background
is
now.
tied to the growing list of unexplained disappearances surrounding Async's operations. In Missing Persons and Autopsy Report, a recovered corpse is examined that many viewers believe belongs to Bolton.
Correct.
While the timeline and circumstances line up closely, the videos never explicitly confirm the body's identity.
Yeah, but we can put one and two together, can't we?
As a result, the idea that the corpse is definitively Nicholas Bolton remains a theory based on visual and contextual clues rather than a stated fact.
Yes, but if that's all we're given and nothing else is ever expanded on, that's what we're going to run with, right? As viewers and as fans of the series, we're going to naturally assume that if all we're given is those facts and those facts alone, there's no other sort of... There's nothing else to draw from. There's nothing else to draw from. There's nothing else to draw from, so you're going to naturally just kind of run with that anyway. So, yeah. And a lot of people have, in my previous comments, in some of my videos, have said that it is in fact him, and he's also now one of the monsters within the never-ending backrooms. So, what do you mean?
This entry refers to a date shown on screen during
I saw something about this.
Video, February 29th, 1990.
Yes, someone said something about this,
The problem is that 1990 was not a leap year, meaning that date should not exist.
but it does.
The video treats the date as legitimate, showing an async expedition occurring on that day. This impossible timestamp stands out as one of the clearest timeline inconsistencies in the series. Whether it's meant to indicate time distortion, corrupted records, or something else entirely is never explained. The anomaly is shown, but no answer is provided.
I think that's what's the best thing about the Backrooms, though, is it's just so open to
Throughout
interpretation.
the series, Kane includes visual and audio glitches that interrupt footage, mirror text, distorted frames, sudden cut-ins, and corrupted overlays. One of the most notable examples appears in Missing Persons, where mirrored blue text briefly flashes on screen, showing the phrase, "If anybody, blame him."
What does that
This
mean,
text
though?
is backwards, and there is no provided explanation for what it exactly means.
Yeah.
These glitches are presented as part of the recovered footage aesthetic, but they're
Which
clearly
is
intentional.
great. We love it.
The videos never explain whether the distortions are caused by the backrooms, the threshold, or damaged recording equipment. What's certain
That's what's
is
so
that
good
the
about it, though.
messages are intentional, clear, and deliberately placed, leaving their meaning open to interpretation.
And us fans love a good interpretation.
Null zones are areas where the boundary between the real world and the backrooms becomes unstable. In the series, they're associated with sudden falls, disappearances, and moments where reality seems to give way without warning.
Yeah, someone grabbed the tape measure and just fucking
They're
yanked it
most
down.
famous
Or
for
her.
being the points
was
in the
actually- I
world
think it was a
where
woman.
people fall or no
I can't be too
into
sure.
the backrooms. The idea is supported visually by people and objects clipping through solid ground or ceilings with no obvious trigger. The videos suggest that null zones may form naturally, or they may be a side effect of Async's experiments.
Naturally, inside the
way.
backrooms.
They're treated as a real hazard,
Are you sure?
unpredictable points where normal physics no longer applies.
Which means unnatural, right? So how can it be naturally spawning?
Kane Pixels does not release the Backrooms videos in chronological order.
But
Some
someone
uploads
put them in
jump
there for
forward
me
or
in
backward
chronological
time,
order.
while others are unlisted entirely. Dates shown on screen often don't match the order the videos were published. This is an intentional storytelling choice. The series presents itself as fragmented, recovered footage, rather
Yes.
than a linear narrative, requiring viewers to piece together the timeline themselves.
Yes, because obviously if you're going to be finding certain bits of... I mean, found footage is found footage, right? It means it's found footage. So it's not always going to be the case that everything you find is going to be in chronological order, which is incredible to think about the way he did it, which is just... It just goes to show the brain. It just goes to show the mind, the brain, the intelligence behind Kane. It's honestly, I genuinely cannot wait for the film. Yeah, oh, it's gonna be a good film. If he has as much directory control over the film as he's making out that he's got, boys and girls, we're in for a bloody treat. I'm telling you now.
Using dates, locations,
We're in for a
and
treat.
recurring names. Notably, Kane has created the series in an anthological state, most likely to add to the mystery of the series,
Yes,
and to allow for clues to the truth to be
Yes.
released in an order of his choosing,
yes,
rather than a traditional linear style.
agreed. The Doctor?
Time behaves inconsistently throughout the Backroom series. Multiple videos include elements that don't match their stated dates. Modern advertisements, interviews from decades later, or posters with future years visible in older footage.
Yeah, it's very strange. Really
One of
throws
the
you when you
clearest
first see it.
examples comes from Presentation, where a researcher who becomes lost during an expedition later reunites with his team. From the team's perspective, months have passed. For him, only a short time has elapsed. This confirms that time dilation or displacement is a real property of the Backrooms, even though the mechanism itself has not been explained.
Yeah, tell us about
The
this, please.
phrase, "If anybody, blame him,"
I have to know.
appears briefly as mirrored blue text during corrupted footage and Missing Persons. It's one of the most readable and clear glitch messages in the entire series. The line appears without context, attribution, or explanation. The videos never clarify who him refers to, or who the message is coming from.
But we can all take a good
All
guess.
that's known is that the text is visible on screen and intentionally included.
Why?
making it one of the more unsettling, unresolved fragments
We must
in the
know.
series.
Hi.
Hey Bacillus is referenced in connection with a deceased researcher examined after exposure to the backrooms. Hey Bacillus
You just saw that,
itself
right?
is a type of bacteria found within the corpse that was recovered from the backrooms in the footage shown.
That's very freaky.
The footage implies that the organism was found under abnormal conditions
You think?
and may have mutated due to environmental factors
slightly
inside
bit.
the space.
Slight bit of mutation. Nothing crazy though.
This discovery helps to bridge the gap between the backroom's spatial anomalies and its biological dangers.
Borderline cordyceps
While
though.
the series confirms that something microbial was found and documented,
That would be fungal.
it stops short of explaining how it behaves, spreads, or relates directly to entities like bacteria. As of now, we have no clue what the bacteria itself really is, where it's from exactly, how it's mutated, and so on.
I mean, it's
No
the
further
backrooms. It could be
information has been
anything.
provided.
Anthony
Anthony
Dawkins.
D. Dawkins is a named async authority.
Where are you getting the
figure
D from, bro? It was
who
Anthony
appears in
Dawkins.
on-screen text and dialogue during report. He's shown as part of Async's internal leadership, interacting with field teams and overseeing research activity.
Mm-hmm.
The only notable piece of information we have so far
I thought they were
is he
naked
has
then for a
level 9
second, bro. Oh
clearance
my
within
god.
Async's institutional hierarchy. While his role
I was gonna have to try and figure out how the fuck to blur things on my editing software now. Well, just then, not now. Just then I was like, oh shit, I've got to do some editing. Like real, like blur that shit. Because I saw the bottom half and I was like, and then I realized they're just wearing the hazmat suit things. And I was like, oh,
is clearly
it's fine.
administrative.
Don't worry about it.
The series doesn't explore his character beyond those appearances. He exists to reinforce that Async's operations involve multiple layers of oversight, rather than a single controlling figure.
A theory. Ooh.
Async is consistently shown operating with government involvement.
We like theories.
References to oversight, classified materials, and official backing appear throughout the series.
Mm-hmm.
After major failures and casualties, the tone of administrative footage shifts noticeably. Some scenes imply that funding, authority, or external support may have been withdrawn or restricted after potential incidents revolving around the KV-31 project in the backrooms. However, no video includes a clear on-screen statement that Async's government contract was formally terminated.
This is true.
The idea exists because of what's implied by the footage,
Right.
not because it's directly stated.
Good theory.
Oak Ridge National Laboratory is mentioned as the
Laboratory.
early testing site for threshold prototypes before Project KV-31 expanded into a full operation.
It looks
This
like the
inclusion
freezers in the back
helps
of like
ground the story
supermarkets.
and give some lore-based insight on the history of the world and the universe in which the Backrooms takes place in. The lab itself is never shown on camera, but its mention establishes that Async's work didn't appear overnight. KV-31 has been in the works over a long period of time. It evolved as a project from earlier experimentation before leading to first contact with
Looks
the
like something from
Backrooms.
Stranger Things, that weird circular thing. We going deeper? Under the surface. Artistic and cultural influences. Okay.
The monster escaped. This theory suggests that at least one hostile entity from the backrooms, most commonly the creature known as bacteria, managed to leave its original environment and enter async-controlled spaces, or potentially the real world.
How would we know?
Across multiple videos, Kane shows evidence of violent encounters, damaged environments, and autopsy footage that confirms organisms were interacting with Async personnel outside a purely exploratory context.
They are monsters,
These
after all.
scenes demonstrate potential dangers and interactions that could lead to potential issues. What the series never shows is a single, clear moment where the creature is visibly escaping into public space or freely roaming outside controlled areas.
Exactly.
The theory exists because of how many isolated incidents stack together, but there hasn't been one definitive escape scene. Miller is a named Async researcher associated with...
So if there's been no escape scene, and what people are saying is because everything's just so packed tightly together, why would that then implicate that any of the monsters have managed to escape the backrooms? I don't understand that one. That's a bit of a... For me, that's a broken theory.
The theory of null zones. Areas where the boundary between the real world and the backrooms weakens, allowing people or objects to fall through unexpectedly. His name appears in on-screen text and supporting material tied to early explorations of how spatial failure occurs. The null zone idea helps explain disappearances shown in the footage, especially sudden drops through solid ground.
Very sudden.
Miller never appears on camera and doesn't have a character arc. He exists as a technical reference point, a person inside Async attempting to explain what's going wrong after the fact.
Did they say he?
Tripod Monster.
Because they had a very feminine
Tripod
voice.
Monster is a fan-given name for the bacteria monster from Found Footage 1. A lot of viewers coined the name purely based off frames of the creature in which it seems to take the shape of a tripod structure.
That's
These
what she said?
interpretations come from individual frames and moments affected by motion blur, intentional distortion, and camera shake. Kane never presents a clear, uninterrupted shot of a three-legged creature, nor does any character reference one directly. Because the evidence relies entirely on ambiguous visuals, the tripod remains purely a theory. It's possible something is there. It's also possible viewers are simply reading structure in the noise. Async lost their government contract. Async is consistently portrayed as operating with government awareness and oversight. Classified markings, formal presentations, and institutional language appears repeatedly throughout the series. After major incidents, including deaths, containment failures, and unstable threshold behavior, the tone of Async's footage shifts. Later videos emphasize damage control, internal review, and a lack of confidence that wasn't present earlier. No video includes a clear statement saying the government officially terminated Async's contract. The theory exists because of what disappears from the footage: confidence, scale, and public-facing optimism.
Okay.
The yellow wallpaper.
Tell me more.
The yellow wallpaper is one of the most consistent visual features of the Backrooms.
Yes.
It appears across multiple videos as a defining environmental trait, often paired with humming lights and repeated hallways. Many viewers connect it to The Yellow Wallpaper, a short story centered on confinement and psychological breakdown.
We've been over this, but yes,
That
carry on.
connection is reinforced elsewhere in the series through titles and visual motifs. What's concrete is the visual design. The yellow walls are real, repeated, and intentional. Any literary meaning layered onto them is interpretive, not
As opposed to an unintentional wall?
explained outright in the videos. What's behind the door?
What's in the box?
In Backrooms Pitfalls, Mark Blum discovers a sealed door at the end of a large room filled with floor openings. He opens it, enters, and never returns on camera. At the time, the footage cuts off before revealing where the door leads. That unanswered moment was later revisited in Backroom's Static Dead End, which reveals the space beyond the door.
It could just completely
A dead-end
fucking
environment
everywhere.
marked by damaged architecture and
Just
unstable
nothing makes
visuals.
sense.
With that follow-up, the door is no longer an unresolved mystery, but it does lead to more questions about the nature of the Backrooms.
Yeah,
and how its
like why is there a
environment
table
performed.
in the wall?
Async
for one?
created the Backrooms. This theory
They did
comes
what now?
from visuals shown in Backrooms First Contact. During the first successful activation of the threshold, Async's instruments display a wireframe map-like structure forming in real time. Some viewers interpret this as the backrooms being generated at the moment the threshold is activated, rather than merely discovered. The timing of the visualization is the entire basis
I agree with
of
that
this
theory. I think that's rubbish, personally.
The videos themselves never say Async created the backrooms. Kane has also come out and stated that the backrooms were found and not created.
Exactly.
What's shown is Async opening a
Boom!
breach and recording what appears on the
stand
other
with
side. But as
I
far
can't
as
talk.
Async
I
creating
stand
the
with my boy
backrooms,
Kane.
it's simply untrue. A vlogger in the backrooms.
Fan mate.
This entry refers to fan-made videos that imitate Kane's style while presenting the backrooms as a vlog or survival diary. These videos are not part of Kane Pixels'
Vlogathon!
channel or storyline. They
Of course
exist
not.
entirely as derivative content created by other users inspired by the format. For my interpretation, this entry simply represents fan culture. There is no deeper meaning behind it. Crab Rave, Backrooms Edition. This is a meme edit that overlays Backrooms visuals with the song Crab Rave, along with dancing crabs from the original music video for comedic contrast.
That's
It
great.
has no connection to the story, timeline, or themes beyond using recognizable imagery. Its inclusion on this iceberg simply reflects how widely the aesthetic spread outside the horror context.
Yeah, sure.
It exists purely as a joke and is entirely non-canonical.
I mean, who would have guessed
Name
that?
of the Hazmat Lady. The recurring hazmat-suited woman seen in several Async-related scenes is identified as Kim. She appears
Kim Possible.
among Async personnel during field
ADHD
operations
again,
and
man.
various
Shut up.
pieces of footage. Early viewers referred to her anonymously because her name wasn't immediately obvious. Later material confirms her identity, resolving that ambiguity. Kim isn't treated as a protagonist, but she is a prominent presence when regarding Async's operations. She is a notable member of the recurring staff of Async's research team. Workers not wearing hazmat suits.
Yeah, what's with that?
Across several videos, Async researchers are shown entering threshold-adjacent spaces and observation areas without full hazmat protection. This contrasts with safety protocols and training you would expect from an institution such as Async, especially since hazmat equipment has been such a center point for the series itself. The inconsistency is visible on screen and never directly explained.
It does make you think, why are they wearing hazmat suits? Is it just to add to the feel of the videos? Is it supposed to like kind of create that extra bit of why? You know, the why factor? I mean, because now I'm asking, why are they wearing hazmat suits? What's the need for it? Like, no one's ever said that it's radioactive in there, so why are we wearing hazmat suits?
This fact confirms that protocol wasn't always followed. Whether this is due to off-screen safety guarantee, overconfidence, or a reference to how rushed Async was moving into the backrooms is unclear. The obstruction. During the events of Backrooms' first contact, Async encounters an unexpected interference while stabilizing the threshold. This event is referred to as the obstruction. The footage
Obstruction.
shows the system reacting to something unplanned, disrupting spatial alignment and requiring emergency response. It's clearly treated as
Shut it
something
down now.
abnormal and dangerous. What caused the obstruction is never clarified. The series confirmed it happened and that it mattered, but nothing more. At this point, it's still unclear exactly what the obstruction was. However, it is possible.
So some people
this
talk
is
about their
being read too
ex-relationships.
deeply, and
It
the
happened,
obstruction is
and it
simply
matters.
referring to the backrooms
That's it.
itself. Async corridor in the backrooms. In multiple Kane Pixel videos, some backroom spaces closely resemble Async's real-world facilities. The hallways, proportions, signage style, and institutional layout mirror what's seen on the Async side of the threshold.
Oh.
These areas are seemingly perfect copies, with the similarities being obvious enough that viewers refer to them as Async corridors.
Maybe they
They
are.
look like distorted replicas of real infrastructure embedded inside the backrooms.
Well, we see
The
that a
series
lot in
never
the
explains
backrooms, though.
why this happens. Whether the backrooms are reflecting human structures or being shaped by Async's presence is left unresolved.
I guess we'll never know then.
Itself is what's documented.
We're going deeper. That's what I just said, getting deeper. Obscure and experimental. Tell me more.
In presentation, Async demonstrates a large mechanical shutter sealing part of the threshold. The portal is described as stable, and the action itself is framed as a containment measure rather than a full shutdown. However, some have speculated that this shutter could be utilized to close the threshold to the backrooms off permanently, severing our connection to the rooms. The footage reflects that Async treats the threshold as long-term infrastructure, with alarms and physical barriers. However, it does not confirm whether this action would or could permanently sever access to the backrooms, or if it is simply a temporary containment measure. Due to this, the permanent closure remains a theory.
Just a thought, just a theory.
During several encounters, the life form emits loud, distorted vocalizations. Some viewers of Kane's work claim that this audio resembles that of human speech, including phrases like, "don't go."
Another theory that I heard in one of my comment sections is that, as I kind of touched on this earlier on as well, is that a lot of the monsters that we do see within the backrooms are people that have been lost in there before and taken by previous monsters. So it's almost like a constant cycle of like, monster finds person, kills person, person becomes monster, and then monster finds person, kills person, person becomes monster. So it's just a constant cycle. But then it kind of begs the question, what came first, the chicken or the egg? So what came first, the monster or the person? I feel like I'm creating my own theories at the moment.
The statement itself isn't very significant, as the monsters have been shown to have the ability to mimic human speech. However,
is it mimicking
the claim that the creatures have cried statements as such could allude to the idea that they are pleading for help. The audio itself is heavily degraded, layered with distortion and echo. Whether these sounds are actual speech, mimicry, or not substantial is unclear. Though, if this theory turns out to be correct, it could lead into greater questions on what these monsters actually are, and whether or not they were human beings that were turned into creatures of the backrooms, possibly caused by the aforementioned Hay Bacillus.
I'm just saying.
Viewers have caught a hidden visual detail embedded in pitfalls.
Okay.
The hidden detail is specifically a set
do us a
of
favor
a
and
couple
flip
of
it
frames in the footage.
And like
where a
elongate
message
it so I'm not
appears
trying to
mirrored.
read Times New Roman bit in
When
like
flipped,
40 times squished.
It reads, "While data could be inferred from these readings, nobody knew what would actually be found on the other side."
Oh,
While
that's
the
ominous.
statement could have a number of meanings, it's most likely in reference to the door that is discovered shortly before Marvin falls into the pit in recorded footage. As to what it means, we do not really know at this moment. Kane is known to embed hidden data in his videos, which lends credibility to the idea that intentional messages exist throughout the series. What remains unclear is whether these messages were meant to explicitly explain something specific, or simply serve as exciting Easter eggs to find throughout the videos.
Starting to sound like Treyarch, man. The Document Purge.
Is a music track composed by Kane Parsons under the Not Kane Pixels YouTube channel. It is seemingly part of the official soundtrack associated with the Backrooms series. The cover art for the track depicts a room that visually resembles an Async interior, most likely interpreted
There's like a
as
bunch of
server room
fridges.
or document storage area. This storage area has appeared in a few other videos in the series, like mar1190 archive.tar. While the imagery aligns with Async, we could not find the track itself presented in universe in any of the media available.
Huh. Weird. The trailer.
There is no official trailer for the Kane Pixels Backrooms series released by Kane Parsons. Kane has never uploaded a formal promotional trailer distinct from the episodes
doesn't need to.
themselves.
The episodes speak for
Various
themselves.
fan-made trailers exist online, typically edited from footage across the series to present a cinematic overview or speculative narrative structure. These are not official, not in universe, and not endorsed as canonical material. We're not exactly sure what this entry is meant to be, but as for any official trailer, none exist.
You might be. I know he wrote it at the
Async
bottom there, but you
Research
might
is a
be
separate
wrong.
fan channel / project that produces Backrooms adjacent content. It is not canonical to Kane Parsons' official series. The channel has created its own narratives and short films inspired by the Backrooms, especially that of Kane's own work. Sometimes this work has been cross-referenced by fans, but Parsons has noted that such stories are not his to claim.
Ah, okay.
It's also important to note that since Kane Pixels is now producing a Backrooms film, Async Research has since had to rebrand to Complex Research due to copyright issues.
Lamal. Gibson TV.
Gibson TV is a YouTube channel that produces backroom-style found footage, heavily inspired by Kane Parsons' work. Like channels such as Async Research, it creates its own interpretations and additions to the Backrooms genre, rather than contributing
might have to check some of these
Kane's
out, you
official
know?
continuity. While Gibson TV also uploads unrelated content, its relevant to the iceberg comes from its Backrooms adjacent videos, which expand on the aesthetic and format popularized by Kane Pixels without being canon.
Oh! God, that gave me goosebumps. That little clip there
The
just gave me
canon shows at
goosebumps. I might have to
least
check
one
that out, you
clearly
know.
seen life form, the bacteria, and multiple community analysis claim audio or visual evidence suggests more than one creature type, different sounds, movement patterns. Fans have cataloged suspected distinct life forms. Official materials leave taxonomy vague. The life forms page in community videos list varied encounters
I hated that thing,
could
bro.
represent species variants or different individuals of the same species.
Ah.
The
Get
wiki
fucked.
and fan content
I don't
both
like you at all.
document multiple reported sightings. This might be true. Several distinct entities could exist in the Backrooms, or it might be the same species exhibiting varied behaviors. Treat multiple monsters as plausible and widely theorized, but not exhaustively confirmed.
Deleted posts.
Kane often uploads screenshots of future videos or other various photos to the community tab or the community Discord, and then quickly deletes them afterwards. The likely reasoning behind this is to simply build hype around future uploads. However, some individuals believe that there is deeper meaning behind it. Also, some uploads on Kane's channel are unlisted or archived. Fans speculate that content may have been intentionally removed to obscure lore. However, the more likely reasoning is simply that the uploads do not fit with the narrative that has developed since the original uploads.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Overall, some believe that Kane's tendency to delete posts or videos has a deeper meaning to the story. But the more likely answer is it is simply a marketing tactic.
I think people are
to
thinking
build
a little
hype for
too
future
much into it there.
projects.
That's a bit, to me, that's a bit far-fetched.
Some fans argue the various sightings, different sounds, and body evidence all
So it's a
originate from
shapeshifter.
a single source. This idea takes the concept of Hey Bacillus either being one singular monster or
So,
a hive mind entity of
A
sorts.
shapeshifter.
Many point to variety in footage and audio as evidence of multiple entities. The fans of the series are divided and have threads arguing both positions. Canonically,
I need to
we have
look at some of
clear
these
evidence
arguments. I
of
think
at
it'll be
least
really
one
interesting to
species
watch.
or life form
/ view.
with a
/ see.
potential other being the still life entity. However, both may be one and the same. This might be a single, highly variable predator, or a group of different life forms. Both readings are reasonable, given existing footage. Viewers and analysts note stylistic parallels between the Backrooms visuals and early-era video game aesthetics with tile repeats, L-system-like procedural structures, and 90s textures.
So mazes then.
Some fans point to explicit L-system imagery found in alt artwork or frames. Parsons uses retro textures and procedural-looking repeating geometry that evoke old video games. Whether that's influence, homage, or coincidental aesthetic choice is not officially stated. The comparisons themselves are common in fan essays and analysis videos. This might be an intentional design decision to evoke nostalgia and algorithmic space, or it could simply be a natural output of creating repeating
What if it's
liminal
everything?
architecture.
You talk about that?
The
What if it's
canonical
everything?
material supports the visual similarity, but not documented intent.
Conclusion.
And with that, we conclude the first half of the iceberg. So far, we've explored the origins, the early experiments, and the growing mysteries surrounding Async and the Backrooms. But this story runs far deeper than what we've seen. Join us next time as we descend further into Kane Pixels Backrooms universe, where the distinction between fiction, reality, and something else entirely begins to disappear. As always, thank you for watching.
If this video gets to 10 likes, I will watch part 2. It's an easy milestone to hit. I kind of want it to hit 10 likes, so if you want to like the video, 1, it's going to help me out, and 2, it's going to show me you want to watch the next part, and 3, I also really want to watch the next part, so like it anyway. Thanks. If you guys want to check out my Discord community, I'll leave that link down below. You can go over there and send me some scary videos for me to react to in another one of my videos where I'll be reacting to the community's scariest things they can find on the internet, and I will put it and compile it into a video for me to put out for you guys to watch. Other than that, thank you very much for watching, guys. Make sure you drink your water. Have a great day / evening, whatever time of day it is for you, wherever you are in the world, and I will see you in the next one. You can go now.